Burn the witch, burn the witch. The drum. Amora screamed. But her sister was no longer there. Only her wrapper, lying gently on the ground like a leaf. That same night, a hunter named Obi ran to the village square. He had a secret, something he had never told anyone. Many years ago, while hunting near the forbidden forest, he had seen something strange, a woman standing over an old drum, whispering. He didn't believe it was real. But after Neka disappeared, he spoke out. I saw her, he told the elders. I saw a witch in the forest. She was touching the drum. Do not speak of lies, they warned. Do not bring more fear. But Amora believed him. Together, they formed a secret group, the Watchers, and began to follow the sound every time the drum beat. They found something strange. The sound always came from the same part of the forest. And every time a girl disappeared, the birds in that area would fly away before the drum beat. As if they knew. One night, with courage heavy in their hearts, Amora, Obi, and a few brave men entered the forest, following the echo of the drum. They walked for hours. Then, they saw it. A giant tree, twisted like a snake, stood alone in the middle of a clearing. And under it, the drum. It was old, made of wood and stretched skin. But it glowed faintly, like something alive. Beside it, sitting calmly, was the same woman Obi had seen. Her eyes were closed. Her lips moved as if singing. They hid and watched. When the drum beat, her mouth stopped moving, and the drum beat on its own. When it stopped, she opened her eyes and smiled. They gasped. It was her. The witch. They leapt from the bushes and ran toward her. But as they got close, the air around her shimmered like heat. She vanished. And reappeared behind them. You cannot stop what has been sealed, she said softly. The curse feeds on the fear. Amora shouted. Why? Why are you doing this? The witch stared at her. Because once, I too was 30. Once, I too was thrown away. And then she disappeared again. But now they knew. The curse was not just a drum. It was pain. Anger. The villagers gathered the next day. Obi told them everything. The elders at first refused to believe. But when Amora showed them the sketch she made of the tree, one old woman collapsed in tears. That's the Odin tree, she whispered. The one from the tale of Adis. Everyone turned to her. She explained that 100 years ago, a young woman named Adis was accused of being a witch. She was 30, unmarried, and still childless. That alone was enough to label her cursed. They tied her to the Odin tree and left her there to die. She didn't cry. She just stared at them and whispered, Your daughters will know my pain. And then she vanished into the forest. Now they knew the truth. The witch was Adis. She had cursed the village, not out of evil, but from the sorrow of being abandoned. Still, the curse had gone on too long. Too many lives lost. Too many tears cried. So, the villagers marched into the forest. And this time, Adis did not run. They found her standing by the drum, her hands behind her back. Will you break the curse? Amora asked, tears in her eyes. Adis looked at the crowd. If I do, will you forgive me? Silence. Then the chief said, We will remember you. But we cannot forgive the pain. The villagers shouted, Burn the witch. Burn the witch. Flames rose. The wind howled. Adis closed her eyes, and then lifted her hands. The drum shattered into dust. The Odin tree cracked in half. And a whisper flew into the night. No more daughters shall disappear. Since that day, the drum was never heard again. Girls no longer feared turning 30. They married when they wanted. Laughed without fear. And every year, they placed flowers where the Odin tree once stood. not to honor the curse, but to remember a woman whose pain turned into horror because no one listened. If you ever visit Onikoko on a quiet night, listen carefully. You might still hear it. Not a drum, but a whisper. Protect your daughters. Believe their tears. And never, ever, let pain grow into something worse. D. Subscribe for more interesting videos.